came in not expecting to talk to anyone. I'm still I was skeptical, still am knots in my stomach of what's going on.
I knew tonight my mom was going to come through. I wasn't sure about my dad. And my mother is a nurse, and he spoke about how my daughter is going to college for nursing.
To know that they were here with us and that they were speaking to us through these special people, I cried. They were great tears. They were tears of relief. They were tears of happiness, and as I said before, I have a lot of direction.
I was so surprised because I didn't expect him to come to me out of a room full of people, and it was terrific. It was right on. Every single thing he was saying was exactly right on.
I think that people find this to be baloney until you sit down with one of these mediums or any other experienced medium, and they are telling you things that there is it leaves no shadow of a doubt that it's real.
Welcome to our demonstration of mediumship. My name is Sharon Shubis. On behalf of my colleagues, Bill Collar, Richard Scholler, we do welcome you. We're glad that you're here. We're glad that you're joining us, and we're really looking forward to a terrific night together. In terms of trying to understand together that life is continuous, that when we are done with this physical body, that we're not really done. We're just at the start of a new adventure.
I then checked my phone. It was my oldest daughter who was trying to get in contact with me. So I immediately called her back into the UK to find out that her mother, my ex-wife, had just died. She just passed away. Sympathy vote, But then bereavement kicks in, which is normal, but then you've got to work with it. You've got to manage it. And as mediums, we've got to be professional about it. Even though we are touched by death, as everybody is touched by death. It doesn't only happen to you, it happens to us as well. But we've got to learn to understand death, we've got to learn to manage death, and we've got to learn to be professional about the way we then continue. Because we try to give people the impression, which I believe is wrong, that how good it is to be dead. You know, no IRS, you don't have to worry about stuff, how good it is to be dead. And I feel that's a wrong impression to give people, because people who pass away can also be bereaved as well.
Right over here in the 1, 2, 3, the fourth row, second seat from the corner, there's a young lady with a sandy blonde hair, beautiful set of earrings, black and white top. So I have 3 people standing with you right now. First, I have a father standing off of your right-hand side. Would you understand your dad in spirit?
Yes.
Passing, I do have illness process here. So would you agree that there was illness in his passing?
Yes.
He's giving me a quality of passing as being a limited time of passing. I don't have a long illness here. And he's actually giving me about 3 weeks. So would you understand 3 weeks of illness? Thank you. You aren't able to say goodbye to your father at the moment of passing. Would you agree with that? Thank you. Please hear this as his acknowledgement of that moment and comfort to you no matter what. And your father just gave you a kiss on the cheek, so I have to make sure you hear that, all right? Your father-in-law is patting you on the back, so I do have to give you a pat on the back from him. He's giving me the feeling of knowing you, agreed?
Yes.
So you must have helped your children deal with other deaths other than your father's, agreed?
Yes.
Hear your dad being proud of that. Now he is moving back to his daughter, so forgive me, I have to leave you, Mark. When I'm with your father, he keeps giving me the feeling of mom. So I've got to acknowledge mom in the spiritual realm also. And I also have to acknowledge it because before I said there was chaos, and I said with your mother's passing, but I stopped myself because I was with dad. Your mom has passed into the spiritual realm. She's at your left-hand side with dad. She wants to make sure you know he wasn't showing up alone. I want to describe your mother's physical stature, but your mother has a private nature. So I really can't describe her physical form because she won't let me. Would you understand that being pretty... Sound like Mom? Yeah, she's telling me not to be a smart aleck. She didn't say Alec. Does that sound like Mom? Okay. Your mother had to raise her family while your father worked, agreed? And your mother was, God bless her, a slave to her children. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but their upbringing and their education. Would you agree with that? And you went through a college experience and graduated, please.
Yes.
You have a daughter? You're looking at college for her? You better know that your mother is following your daughter or tracking your daughter. Wherever she decides to go, you better know that your mother will be there with her, okay? Now, it's hard as a mother to let your daughter go away. It's hard as a father to let your daughter go away. I need to make sure you both walk out of here knowing that Mom will be right on her tail, and I mean that in the nicest of ways, okay? I have to make sure you walk out of here today, and I'm gonna say skipping, but feeling happy, because your mom and your dad couldn't wait till you got here tonight. And I have to make sure you know that they're watching out for everyone in the family, siblings as well, yours.
Front or back?
Back.
Back. Male or female?
Female.
Wow. Left or right?
Left.
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 Right, we'll go to the very back, left-hand side. Lady, you've got the earrings. It's okay if I talk with you?
Yes.
Okay. You would understand where there is not one, but there are two parents in the spirit world.
Yes.
Both mother and father.
Yes.
You would understand that as a couple, I would not describe it as Romeo and Juliet.
Yes.
They've come to the communication together, but I would not normally associate them as being together. You would understand that.
Yes.
But to, as I say, to be nice to you, because each of them has a very different emotional connection with you, and each of them just wants to show a level of camaraderie with you this evening. They give me the sense that they feel they could have been more involved with you when they were in this world.
Yes.
And for that, in coming into our communication this evening, they would want to, as it were, apologise to you that they didn't feel their role as parents was really fulfilled the best way it could have been. And I feel they only recognised that once they passed into the spiritual world, because I feel they were pretty naive about it when they were here. You would understand that.
Yes.
Who also wants to be remembered to you. And in my sensing of him and his thinking about you is he gives me the sense that you were much better for him than he was for you.
Yes. Yes.
He had to pass away to accept that. And he just wants to thank you for the role that you played in his life and the opportunities that you gave him that he did not maximise in the best way. But he certainly wants to thank you for that. And he still thinks, and he's using a terminology that's not words that I would use normally coming from old-fashioned Europe. But he still thinks you're a cutie. Know that as far as he's concerned, he just wants you to have the fun in life that you deserve. And so don't be a kind of wallflower and don't sit in watching television all day. Just get yourself out there and keep yourself in life. I'm sure that you do, but he just wants to give you that encouragement that you should do that. But can you understand where you've been questioning just a little bit your mobility because they're just giving me this question of mobility that I've just got to say to you, I'm sorry, but you're suffering from too many birthdays. But there's nothing there that is immobile. So you don't need to worry about losing your mobility. You just need to pay attention to it.
Sir, can I come to you? I know I met you before. I'm terrible with names and I apologize.
Dennis.
Dennis. And can I come over here to you also? Yes, I know I said hello to you, but your name? Helena and Dennis. You understand Dad in the spirit world, Dennis, for you.
Yes.
And Helena, you understand Dad in the spirit world for you. Because I've got both dads, and I know you don't know each other, and I understand that. So it's not like your long-lost brother and sister or anything like that. Two different dads for two different purposes, but they come in together on some similarities, okay? So if you'll both, we'll work back and forth with this. Understand, Dennis, with your dad, as I just start to work with him, there's a sense here that he felt he didn't get done everything he wanted to get done in life while he was here. Do you understand that about your dad?
Yes.
Now, but just in a different place. All right, so he comes along for the ride. All right, but there's an intelligence about your dad that he had but not book learned. Do you understand that? Your intelligence comes more from book learned because he keeps showing me you always being kind of purposely searching out new information.
Yes.
You understand that? One of the things your dad is giving to me for you is his pride in how you've handled your own difficulties in life. All right? Your dad didn't handle difficulties too well.
Yes.
Do you understand that?
understand.
Because he did not see himself as wrong sometimes. The other thing he's bringing to me here is the sense that he's almost giving me, I know this is going to sound a little strange, but let me just work with it for a minute. He's really giving me the sense here that you really do need, like the rest of us, but more so, you need a vacation, you need a break.
Yes.
Because I know we could all say, oh yeah, we need a vacation, but boy, Dennis, you really need a vacation. It's kind of like you're on fast forward all the time, and you're not giving yourself the chance to regenerate or relax or get back into like the day-to-day rhythm of things. We're gonna work right now, the three of us together. Richard, I think, was just volunteered by Bill.
Once again. So I'm going to explain the process. Bill said you sense a brother here, and it is on the right-hand side,
It's
but
over on the right-hand
I
side.
can't grasp which
I felt
person.
it was forward here.
You felt it was forward.
You with a story about a brother. And I just know the spiritual world is paying attention to this brother. And I know that there's, and I don't say this in a negative sense, there is a big question of whether this brother will make it or not. And if I'm being absolutely honest with you, the spirit world don't know the answer to that right at this moment. It's a question of his will to fight. And at the moment, I'm not seeing as much of that will to fight. And that's, I nearly used the word the killer, but that's the killer. Yeah. Now, it's not so much physical, it's mental. It's mental pain, it's mental discomfort. Would you understand that? And going into the spiritual world is not going to answer that question, because you're going to be accountable for your thought processes when you go into the spirit world. So there's no free lunch in this process. So this idea of trying to capitulate to the spirit world and your problems are all solved, you're going to have to face up to the reasons that took you there, and that's not going to be any easier. It sounded like Nancy, or somebody's being Nancy. Do you understand that terminology? Like somebody's being difficult, somebody's being not easy to work with.
Well, what's in?
They're being
Nancy is a family name. My name was Nancy for 3 days.
right. That's what it is then, because I just know that they're talking about Nancy, and it could well be, ladies and gentlemen, you miss the first part of a name, you get the middle name, and you know it could well be. But I just know that obviously it connects with you.
But the knowledge is you've done everything you can. And sometimes what we have to do then is take a step back. So there's the thought here of what you've done has been well received and has been good enough.
So just a couple more details. Now, you both knew him, obviously. Your father's also a very proud man. I cannot discount his pride, and his pride in his family. Now, the issue that was being spoken of with your brother, your father still has a sense of pride in his son no matter what, because his son has tried to the best of his ability. Did you hear that? But your father wants to make sure you don't take on more responsibility than you have to, because this is truly your brother's path. He agrees 100% with what Bill said. We can encourage, we can support, we can give brother new reasons for life.
Firstly, how do you shut it off? How do you not keep being bombarded by spirit being?
Not allowed.
Just like any human being has a no in their experience, we have a no, we're done, we close down. Each of us have learned how to shut off our experience to be able to enjoy the human life. None of us need to be walking around open to the spiritual realm the whole time.
It's exhausting.
It would be.
When I'm finished at night, I close the cemetery door and I go and watch the soccer. I go and play golf. I go for a beer.
And we've taught ourselves how to be in this world just like everyone else. The question is, when would somebody know when they're ready to become a student of the Inner Spiritual Center? The Inner Spiritual Center runs a 2-year program teaching in mediumship, intuitive, psychic, and mediumistic development, ultimately mediumistic development. For the answer, in my estimation, and I'll also refer to Bill and Sharon on this, in my estimation is when you're feeling this pull to want to know more about what your ability is, that's when I say you feel ready to join. You feel ready to jump in.
She gave me a reading concerning my father, basically in which he sent his love, expressed his respect, and said that I needed a vacation.
It took a few minutes to figure out who was talking to who about whom, but then it became very, very clear, and I really have a lot of direction right now and a lot of peace of mind as to how to move forward with this family situation.
My experience has always been positive with Richard, and now tonight with Sharon. The accuracy in describing people physically who come into the readings is very high.
For me, it was very intriguing to say, wow, this is taking place, this is happening, and, you're still here.
The personalities of the people who come into the reading is spot on, and it just feels it's fascinating and validating.
Before my father-in-law passed, we had a private moment together, and Richard said exactly what he had said. He thanked me for taking care of his daughter, and he was spot on with it. So it was emotional. You get goosebumps. It was a nice feeling.
I'm into an intense program here, and Sharon is phenomenal. Bill is wonderful, and so is Richard. They are all absolutely phenomenal teachers.
You're always wondering why people pass and what and what they thought of you or what they're thinking of you, and it's nice to know that they're there. It's comforting. I recommend it to anybody, sure.
Gave me a lot of comfort, and so I truly appreciate it. It is a phenomenal experience mediumship.
That there's a lightness that comes from this kind of work that you are able to take with you out of these experiences, and it's like a loss of concern, a loss of worry, because you've been reassured that there is this continuity of life and that it doesn't, it's not like a book that gets shut and that's the end of it. So there's still relationships that you have, it's just a relationship in a different way.